COVID just absolutely changed the world, right? Yeah. Like before COVID, digital nomads, they were a thing, but after COVID, it just blew up. It's a whole different world, right?
Mic check. I'm good.
Mic check. Mic check.
You can read about success all day long, but if you don't put in the work, the mindset, execution, and the hustle behind your vision, it just remains a dream.
When everything goes wrong, you have to take all the responsibility.
We uncover what high-level entrepreneurs, business owners do to rise up from hustling daily.
So do what you feel passionate about. Take chances.
The world becomes your library to help you to become better at your craft.
Join me as I share with you actionable tips to help you grow your business, learn skills, and help you level up in your self-development journey.
Your number one spot for business and personal growth is the Online Hustlers Podcast with your host, Esteban Andrade.
Every day I'm hustling.
Hey listeners, ¿qué pasó? What's going on, guys? Today we are in the Online Hustlers Podcast with Esteban Andrade, where we're covering REI, marketing, and conversion. But today we have a special episode. So special because I've been working with these individuals for a long time. I've seen their growth. They've grown massively to earning a couple thousands, 5 figures per month, until like multiple 6 figures per month. But not only that, but achieving life goals. And a lot of you guys here are coming into the entrepreneurship lifestyle to achieve. But sometimes we get lost into this hustle mindset and the grind and working every single day that we do not achieve this type of goals. We do not achieve the goal of traveling. We do not achieve the goal of getting time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom, because we get so into this game that it actually is going to consume us that ultimately we do not get what we want. Okay. But today, Alex and Lisa are a clear example of people that I look up to because they have achieved something that a lot of us want. We want location freedom. We want time freedom. We want to be running our business, but not our business to run us. And it's today a real crucial day because it's a wholesaling company. And we've been through a lot of different wholesaling companies in this show and real estate investing companies. But these guys, they travel around the world. They absolutely love traveling, the idea of getting to meet new cultures, new languages. They even are having right now a son. And I think this was based off a bunch of tequila and beach days. And it's pretty amazing because we're going to talk about that. Okay. So we're going to have today Alex and Lisa, and we have them right here with us right now. What's going on, guys?
Hola, todos.
How's everything going?
Awesome. Thanks for the awesome introduction, Esteban. How are you?
I'm doing so well. And before we start, guys, if you guys want for me to bring in really good guests like are going to provide so much value and things that you never really heard of, just like and share, just subscribe to this as well, and make sure that you share this with your circle, okay? Today, we're going to cover how we're going to transform your life, your wholesaling business into something that you really want to. We have achieved time freedom, location freedom, and ultimately financial freedom. So those are the 3 freedoms that I really want to achieve. And I see in Alex and Lisa a lot of different nuggets that can be given to us today. Okay. So Alex, Lisa, you've been working with us for, we've been working together for a long time. Yeah, it's been years. And I've seen your tremendous growth. Ultimately, at the beginning, Lisa was not necessarily working within.
No, she was not working at all. Not in this business. She was working, but not in this business. Yeah.
And then she ended up kind of like you guys ended up doing some shifts and things like that. You guys ended up growing even more. And it's funny because now you're less in the business and you guys grew even more. Seems like you guys were like putting yourself in the middle and creating a bottleneck. But then when you guys took a step back, it actually made the business much better. So it's kind of like little things that I've noticed. But let's go back to exactly what you guys are and why people should listen to you, because people need to understand that the level of business that you have with you, Alex, Lisa, and Victor is something that is very inspirational, and people really should follow different tips and tricks that you guys have done throughout the years. So guys, tell me all about you. I love that you guys travel so much. That you guys are having Nico. Nico is it's Nico, like
Mexico.
Mexico, right? Yeah.
That's
Where are
right.
you guys right now? Are you guys traveling, or are you guys in Seattle right now?
We're in Seattle.
We're in Seattle to be closer to the doctors. Yeah, to the healthcare.
Yeah. Okay. But obviously, just a few weeks, you guys were in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Puerto
right.
Vallarta. We love that place, baby.
Puerto Vallarta. But not only that, you guys love traveling to all different places around the world. I see pictures from you guys on Facebook traveling like every single time.
Yeah, it's it's a big passion of ours, man. It definitely fuels us. You know, me growing up, my family, my parents moved a lot. You know, kind of fun fact about me, I lived in India when I was 2 and 3, so like that started me going really, really early. Lisa was kind of a later addition in life when she started traveling, but man, like her passion for travel is just crazy. She's got a blog, culturalfoodies.com, if you guys ever want to check it out. And like she's got this whole section on like the nomad life and, you know, how to set everything up and go like that. And so I feel like she's even dove past where I'm at with her passion for travel. And, you know, she worked for Expedia. It just makes sense, right? It's all about travel, right? And she sold all kinds of activities and tourism and stuff in Hawaii. So that was kind of her intro. But yeah, travel is a huge theme for us. And, you know, we decided that, you know, if the business is going to work, we have to make sure that it fits our lifestyle, right? We live once. Well, some people think we have multiple lifetimes. That's other podcasts that we can talk about. But man, we got to make the most in this life.
You heard that right. Culturalfoodies.com. And she used to work does she still work, or she used to work there in Expedia?
No, she used to work at
I'm full
Expedia.
on in the business now.
Yeah.
For one of the biggest travel agencies, or I don't know if it's more of a tech company, but one of the biggest in the world. And obviously she can bring all this passion. I'm pretty sure she saw so many people like traveling and having all this type of life and pictures and all these experiences that I'm like, why can't I just bring it to myself too? Like, why can't I create this with Alex? Is that kind of like the process? Like, when you were working with Expedia, Lisa, like, what were you thinking? Like, how can I make this for me? How can I make sure I explore the world as well?
Yeah, I mean, this passion started actually 6 years ago when we had first met. We were hiking in Ross Dam Lake in the Cascades here in Washington, and we turned to each other and we said, "Why don't we just travel on our savings? You know, why don't we just quit our jobs?" I was at the Space Needle at the time, working in tourism development. Alex was at Boeing. And that kind of planted the seed. And in 2017, we left the country and traveled for half a year. And that's when Alex went, full on in the business. We left our careers and never looked back since. So it's been 6 years in the making, but we said, okay, how can we continue to do this, but as a lifestyle, and still continue to earn an income and a passive income whilst we're traveling. So
that's amazing. I had your partner in the other podcast. You guys are making multiple six figures right now on the business, and you have an amazing team that is now allowing you guys to easily do this. But even before you guys were making this amount of revenue and money for your business, you guys were still having this lifestyle. You guys were still trying to create this lifestyle for yourself. And I think it doesn't require a ton crap of money and you become a millionaire in order to do this. You just have to do it right. And I really want you guys to walk us through this, like throughout your first stages of entrepreneurship. How have you guys been able to really create this type of lifestyle? A lot of people really are just wondering, like, oh my God, like people are just traveling and I'm here in the office and all stressed out and like I can't get out. Like, how?
Yeah, we'll have different perspectives on it, I'm sure, with Lisa, but part of it was necessity, right? So, when we came back from our world travels, I was going to go right into the business, but at that point, the business was just forming. I wasn't sure how much money it's going to bring. I was pretty new to wholesaling, and Lisa got a job with Expedia in Hawaii. She used to work there before. She came to Seattle. We decided, okay, we don't want to live in Seattle, so she got a job in Hawaii. And I decided, heck yeah, I want to live in Hawaii, but I also want to make this business work. So we figured out a way to make the business work virtually when this is kind of like, early stages, 2017, there was, virtual wholesaling wasn't a huge thing at that point, right? Way before COVID. But we started making it work right from there and then, so I focused in wholesaling on the acquisition side, the things that you could do virtually. And my business partner, Victor, at that time, he was focused on disposition. So he was doing dispositions and he was doing mostly virtually as well. So that was kind of, that was the beginning. And guys, the huge money, it didn't come later on until, we actually put more people into the business, right? We surrounded ourselves right from the start with a kind of a core team of virtual assistants, just like you guys do, from the Philippines, from Colombia, from Costa Rica. But we put ourselves as the closers in the business. And that was a mistake because we were, juggling all these other things and we were not the best at closing, right? So we were kind of slowing down the business. I think that had we put closers in there as well earlier on, we'd be further along. But we're still making it work. And, so I was in Hawaii for, 2.5 years. Lisa was working there for Expedia. And, we had a really great life just living there. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, in terms of steps of becoming a digital nomad, it's actually easier than you might think. But the things that kind of get in the way are if you have a family or a dog or a house, right? So if you have a house, you have several options. You can rent it, you can sell it, but don't do that, buy and hold, right? That's the rule in real estate. You can Airbnb it, right? So really the factors that I think deter people from living this lifestyle really is if they have a family or if they're taking care of someone elderly, that can be a challenge. But if you're, relatively free without responsibilities in one place, then what we found was that it's significantly cheaper to live abroad and have, a U.S. income and be able to utilize that in other countries. So really, it's just about getting yourself set up, getting really good internet, getting a good accommodation, having a stable place to work from, and then really setting that boundary of when is my playtime and when is my work time. And we found that, especially in Europe, where we were anywhere between 8 and 12 hours ahead of Seattle, we would wake up late, we would have the whole day to explore, and then we'd work from like 4 or 5 p.m. until 1 a.m. in the morning. And it was the best schedule, right? This is before the pregnancy, before we have kids. It worked really well for us. So we really enjoyed that it felt like we had a better work-life balance than we do here in Seattle.
You know what's crazy? I was traveling in Italy, and I kind of have the same feelings as you guys because I am in the Eastern time zone, and obviously I have clients on Central, Mountain, and Pacific time zone. But when I was in Italy, I was able to, because I wanted to explore. I did not wake up late because I wanted to explore, but I woke up early enough to explore during the day, enjoy the day in Italy, and then right at like maybe 3 or 4 p.m. and I still, me having a team, I would go log in and do my things. The things that they started to kind of slow down already in Italy, it's already getting later.
Yeah,
and you're working out perfectly. You're in another part of the world, and you created this digital systems that can work remotely. And even you can also say, I'm just going to take the night off. I'm going to go for a bar and get to know the nightlife too, because like when you have a team, you can do that. But at the same time, you can just go log in at this day, at this time of the day after you have enjoyed your time. So that's kind of like my story in Italy. And it was the first time in Europe in such a like different time zone. So that's pretty amazing that you guys have that. So that was kind of like the basics. Make sure that you have a good setup and everything. Obviously, have you created blogs around this to help people kind of like understand like what are the best setups or things like that?
Oh yeah. I have everything from like ergonomic workstations to how to pack and what to bring with you. So we are not light packers, I'll tell you that much, because when we go somewhere, we live there for anywhere from 1 to 8 months, right? So we have these 2 huge suitcases. My husband is 2 meters tall or 6'7", so his shoes take up 1 suitcase alone. But we have all our digital nomad equipment in 1 suitcase, and that's really
have this thing,
extendable,
man. Guys,
adjustable.
If you don't have this for traveling, like for working remotely, man, this thing is freaking the bomb, guys. Get it?
For people listening to the audio, this is kind of like a base for your laptop where you can like adjust height, an adjustable height stand for your laptop. I just got one actually, and I wasn't even thinking about like just hey, how can I make a nomad type of thing? But I've seen a lot of my friends on Instagram, and I just got it. Okay, so the equipment is so crucial in order to do this. What would you say is other key takeaways or key crucial things in order to get set up properly here?
Yeah, I would say that the first thing we look at when we go to a new country before we even book it is digital nomad co-working spaces. And so finding a good co-working space that has also private rooms to take, phone calls and video calls that's not in a communal space is really key. And then visiting those places first. And that's also a great way to meet new people when you arrive in a new country.
I think that's great.
Yeah, it's a great way to meet other entrepreneurs, other business owners. It's just kind of like free networking. So that's always how I like to start.
Yeah, I think for me, I think it's important to like travel on a Saturday. So you get to a place on a Saturday, so you
set yourself up.
You can be already set up, so you can check the internet, check everything. Everything is good to go, so that when you're ready on Monday, man, you're not having any technical issues, and you're already going 100 miles per hour. So it's all good.
So you make the decision of living for like 1 month to 8 months, right? And when you choose a country or a place, how do you determine like how long I'm going to stay there?
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
It's a really good question. There's no science or formula behind it. It's kind of, we usually book just 2 weeks at a time, because when you never know, right? When you get there, you might have like a yowling cat outside your room or a neighbor upstairs who sings opera at 2 a.m. You just don't know these things until you get there, right? So we never lock ourselves into a place more than 2 weeks, and then we can always extend, right? And we were really lucky to travel during COVID when people still were not traveling widespread internationally. So we were able to book things very last minute. Now it's a little bit different climate in the travel industry. It's starting to come back. But, with platforms like Airbnb or booking.com or hotels.com, there's a lot of options. So if you don't like one place, you can just get a different place. And then you just kind of feel how you like it. Sometimes we would arrive to a place and we're like, no, we're not really feeling this. And then we'd move on. And sometimes we'd arrive with the intention of staying for a month, and we stayed for 2 months. So,
and a good hack, guys, is once you get to a place, if you get the Airbnb just for a week or 2 weeks, oftentimes you can negotiate directly with the host, so you'll get way better rate. Also, most big, international destination cities, they all have Facebook groups where you can connect directly with hosts. Or you can find a leasing agent who will help you, get a much, much better rate than you would otherwise. And we have friends in Mexico this year. Playa just blew up. Playa was super hot. Mexico City, Puerto Vallarta. And, using this service, we were able to get, places for pretty much half the price, like $2,500 for an apartment that otherwise goes for $5,000, right? So like you'll save a ton of money if you do that little hack right there.
Wow, that's amazing. How many countries, which countries, if you can list them, like have you guys been in the last few years? And cities, places?
Oh, man. So we started in the Azores Islands off the coast of Portugal. By the way, that is an amazing destination.
Oh, guys, that's an unknown hidden gem.
It's 4.5 hours by plane from Boston, or basically anywhere on the East Coast. And it is inexpensive. The people are not so friendly, but it's kind of, I would say, a mixture of the big island of Hawaii, Iceland and Ireland. It's a beautiful, beautiful, little chain of islands there. So Portugal.
And if you love surfing, it's a really nice surfing spot. Great surfing spot, location. Also great for wine. They got like 7 or 8 different islands all in one place, and each one is quite different. Active volcanoes, just a crazy, beautiful place. Yeah.
And again, this is the Azores Island. In Portuguese, it's Azores, but it's Azores. But the best digital nomad places were definitely Puerto Vallarta in Mexico. Istanbul in Turkey was phenomenal. I mean, that is like a hot spot for digital nomads, and it is cheaper than Mexico. We were blown away by how affordable it is to spend a lot of time there. We went to the Balkans and Western Europe primarily.
Yeah, Italy. We love Italy.
Italy's not a good digital nomad location. I will say that. That is probably the worst place to go if you're trying to get some work done.
Internet is tough, guys. I would make sure
everything is slow it down.
Esteban, when you were in Italy, how was your experience with internet and things?
Honestly, it was definitely challenging. Like, it was like, not only everything was super small, that obviously I will have the person that I was traveling with, which is my girlfriend, right there, and she just speak. We have the dogs, we have different things happening, and the internet sometimes will just get stuck. But luckily enough, I had paid for Google Fi, which had helped me. Helped
really
me
recommend.
Yes, with the internet, and I would put my phone, and it has unlimited internet, so that helped me. But with the laptop itself, it was definitely challenging itself. Good thing, and I have a great team.
Guys, another thing that is absolutely crucial now that I figured out, highly recommend it. Get a bundle of
Ethernet
these guys.
cords.
60 foot internet cords on Amazon, man. It'll definitely save your life, because even if you get really slow, shitty internet with Wi-Fi, you plug in that baby, it'll give you at least double or 3 times the speed that you get otherwise. So
what is the airport security going to be like? What are you going to do with that amount of
You don't need a 60 foot. Maybe a 10 foot is fine.
Oh, you never know, man. You want that 60.
That's crazy. Obviously, you guys have a biased, right now it's a biased opinion on Puerto Vallarta right now, because you guys have had Nico in there, right?
Well, that was Playa.
That was on the other side. That was Playa.
But we lived in Puerto Vallarta for several months.
Okay, gotcha.
Like our second home.
Yeah, Puerto Vallarta is great, especially for folks coming from the West Coast.
It's very close.
Any central, in the Midwest, just because you got more direct flights from there to US, to Canada, than to Mexico or any other locations. And the airport is super efficient, small. You get in, and 3 hours later, you can be in LA, 4.5. You're, Seattle, Salt Lake City, Chicago, of course, East Coast as well. So it's, very, very convenient. It's just a beautiful, beautiful spot.
Yeah, I know one person that is currently living down there, absolutely loves it. And the food seems incredible.
Oh,
and just the weather and just the entire landscapes that it provides. But I'm always going to say that you should try Colombia as well.
Yeah, there's a plug for Colombia.
Medellin is the new hotspot.
It is the new hotspot. All right. So, guys, let's go back to the nuggets. Let's go back to the different tips and tricks that you guys have learned throughout the time, and you guys can give us. Obviously, there's a lot of blogs that can be read by Lisa. Again, from her blogging site, and that gives a lot of different things. But one of the things that I really like to know is, once you guys are traveling and you guys own a property, you guys own real estate in the US, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep paying rent, I'm gonna keep paying the mortgage, I have so many things in here, and probably I just don't want to sell them or whatever that is. What do I do? For example, right now, if I were to be moving to another country for a few months and then continuously doing that, how do I do with all the things that I have acquired here? Even just the lighting or, this thing here, what do I do with them? How can you handle that?
Man, that's a great question. I think a lot of it comes to the principles and philosophy. My personal philosophy is like if
minimalism.
Minimalism, and also if my space is not being used,
it's
a waste, right? That's why I love Airbnb platform. I love VRBO. Having somebody in my home live there, it just makes a lot of sense. Like even if they didn't pay me the money, I wouldn't want my space to just go sit there unused. That just doesn't feel good to me. But before I got started, man, before Airbnb hacking got into a thing, I actually rented out my apartment on Airbnb. You just have to be, obviously you have to be careful making sure that, your HOA or whatever doesn't really, slap your hands. But you can always, claim innocence once or twice because that can, definitely help you save quite a bit of money. The other thing that I would highly recommend, guys, regardless where you are, get to know a good handyman because they can do miracles for you, man. My best moving experience was when I was, early on in the business. I was visiting LA with a friend for the weekend, and my handyman moved all my stuff from one apartment to the other apartment. That was great, man. I paid $450 and I didn't have to think about anything. I came in there, it was like everything was set up. It's like, dude, life is so much better if you have people in your life that are like that. So definitely, and it comes back to just what, Esteban always says, talk to people, network with people, because people are better than money. They'll help you in situations. So that's kind of, my take on it. Now we're a little bit different. So Lisa can tell you a little bit more. If you're a little bit more established and you have your own place, then kind of different considerations. You want to talk about?
Well, I would say, I would say still, and that's something that Alex and I always talk about is when we get our, $1.5 million home and we customize it the way we want. I'll be a little scared to just open it up to Airbnb, right? Because it's all our personal belongings and artwork and whatnot. But I think if you properly vet, the types of people that are staying and, have that travel in common, you can definitely find some good tenants or some long-term tenants. You can also, if you're going to be gone for a long time, you can have a minimum stay on Airbnb of 30 days and go with that so that it's not such a quick turnover. So.
Yeah. And so if for example, someone just wants to completely go in a full year or not full year, I don't think that maybe you can go to a full year in a country because maximum is like 6 months for most countries, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But let's say they want to do like a full year, like in South America or Europe. Would you recommend people to put stuff in a storage place or just Airbnb the place?
That's a really good question. Probably some things will have to go in storage if they're really valuable, or you could have one room or one closet that's lockable. Or if you have a storage, unit in your own space, put the valuables in there. I think, as long as you're comfortable having other people live in the home and just kind of put the personal belongings siloed in one area, then it's probably better to Airbnb it that way, because then you're not paying for an additional, storage space. We've done both options, but we find that just having you can even have we opened a bank account with a safety deposit box.
Yeah.
So just put your, your jewels and whatever you have in that small box, and everything else is fine.
Yeah, pretty much all local banks will have a safety deposit box that you can get. I think it's like, I don't know, $40 for a year, depending on the size, could be a little bit more, but it'll save you a lot of the headache. Put anything that's super valuable in there, then you're good. I would recommend finding a property manager who wants a little bit of a side income so that, if anything, they can be your point of contact if you're Airbnb-ing your place and you're doing the self-management, but something happens and you really need help, and you can, call them up and they can help you. A buddy of mine hooked me up with his property manager, and she's been absolutely fantastic, and she's just trying to get her business going. So it's been a really good setup. When you're away, you can always kind of rely on that to help you out. Yeah.
Well, guys, obviously, if people here that most of them own businesses or are entrepreneurs that currently having a W-2, the listeners here, they obviously want to travel. They obviously want to get to know new places, new culture, new food. But sometimes, obviously, it sounds like wow. It sounds like you gotta put a lot of into thinking on how to make sure that this is coordinated well. Then be like, why sometimes even bother when I'm like comfortable, right? Like right now here in my U.S. or Canada house, and you can sometimes go and in the Airbnb you have set up configured your soundproofing system. You have a great extensions for you to work, for example, downloading Crisp, for example, having great headsets, for example, having great timing on the time zone. Maybe you can set up different good calendar for yourself and and things like that. But sometimes it's just people are not taking the action of doing that because it's like, wow, it just seems like it's too much. Why do you guys do that? Like, why do you guys came into this lifestyle? Like, what is really good about it from your end? Because it's so worth it at the end of the day. But why for you guys?
You want to take a shot at it first?
Yeah, I will say this lifestyle is not for everyone, and that's totally okay. I think Alex and I are a little bit on the extreme of like, we don't like being in one place for a long time. We feel stagnant, so we feel really inspired by new environments all the time. That could change when we have a baby. Ask us in 6 months from now.
When Nico comes out,
yeah, right. But I think, for
maybe
a lot of people,
maybe Nico can become Nico the Explorer and be like,
absolutely. That's our goal. But I think, for me, I was not always into traveling. I think once you do it once and find, oh, this is amazing, then you're more inspired to do the next one. So my recommendation to folks who have never done a long-term travel before or live abroad before would be, of course, do the research. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of blog posts out there. But I would do a trial. So maybe 1 month and just choose a location and go there for 1 month and stay in one place and just try it out, test the waters. It can be a lot of coordinating. I love that though. So that's my whole background is, so Alex would book the flights. I'd book the accommodation. I'd figure out all the things to do. That's not everybody's cup of tea. And so you can always just go someplace, and some folks like to travel as to where some folks like to really just live there like a local, have a gym membership, have their community of friends, have the same restaurants that they go to. Both ways are fantastic. But I would say a good way to start is just do that one trial of a month and see how you go.
So living a digital nomad lifestyle right now, what has unlocked you guys in your life? In any aspect of your life, what has allowed you guys to unlock?
Well, I think the thing that jumps into my mind is that COVID just absolutely changed the world, right? Yeah. Like before COVID, digital nomads, they were a thing, but after COVID, it just blew up. It's a whole different world, right? Mm-hmm. People want to do business the way they want to do it, right? A lot of people are saying, hey, I'm not going to go back to the office. I've tasted this life. This is what life should be all about. And, now technology allows us to work remotely, right? So during the pandemic, Lisa, she lost her job at Expedia because at first all the travel shut down, right? But then she got a job with this luxury travel company where she was setting up trips for 7-10 figure individuals with jets and all that. And with this company, they're like, yeah, you can work anywhere you want. So she started to work actually from Puerto Vallarta. So I would say that whether you're an entrepreneur or even if you have a W-2 job, I think if you got the talent and also got the courage, tell your boss, look, this is what I want. I'm going to be working remotely. And, you can be anywhere in the world as long as you got that fast internet connection and you got the setup. People these days, they don't care so much where you at, right? What's the difference if you're working from home in Miami or Chicago or Seattle or in Mexico City? Doesn't make a difference. And funny thing, guys, we've seen faster internet speeds on the Azores Islands or in Puerto Vallarta than in Seattle. And I was on calls where people in Chicago, they're having internet issues. I'm like, it doesn't matter, right? I think now we live in a different world.
Another thing I'll say that has been really motivating for me, I do not come from an entrepreneurial background. So it's been really fun to be an intrapreneur within my husband's business that has now I've adopted as my own because I feel it's like such a big contributor. Is that when you travel abroad, especially to digital nomad locations where there's other people like us, other business owners, you're meeting folks from all over the world who have started their own businesses in other countries. And so you learn best practices along the way that maybe are really different in the US versus Europe versus Japan, for example. So that is really motivating for me to not only learn about the cultural differences and people's upbringings, but how does that translate into business ownership? And what are the commonalities and what sort of things can we share? And you'll be surprised, if you're depending on what a lot of folks who are listening are in the real estate space, that's pretty big all over the world, but you might find your next investor, right? In Portugal, you might find your next investor in Mexico. And so that's really fun to just branch out of your country and find that there are so many business owners around the world going through the same struggles we are, going through the same wins we are. And so it's fun to come together and find best practices in that regard.
And I think something to add here is not only like maybe investors and things like that, but I've been in places where, oh my God, this person is servicing me or like giving me such a great customer experience.
You want to hire them.
I want to talk to you, interview you, and
yes.
just grab you.
Yes,
come to
absolutely, 100%. 100%.
Oh, man.
That's our life has become about like recruiting people everywhere.
That's right. Like, isn't that like amazing that when you travel, you can be in almost hiring mode all the time? Yep. Because there's people that do not earn the money that they deserve or that they can whenever working for an American company. And now as a virtual assistant, but in reality, they will be just a virtual, just virtual employee that has the same capabilities, the same skill set. It's going to cost less for the business, but it's going to be better for this individual because now they're earning more, remote opportunity, right? US company, amazing owners. So that's another thing that I have seen that I can do. And I have learned that from friends that, like you guys mentioned, Medellin is another hotspot, that people have been moving to Medellin and they are always like looking, always like recruiting, always asking the right questions. Hey, and then I've been to Medellin and I see my friends being like, hey, make sure that you interview this person. Make sure that you link to our calendar. This guy is having such a great English and customer experience. When we went to Costa Rica, same thing. It's like, hey, let's make sure that we get him on an interview. Maybe we'll be able to get him someone better or interested for him to get paid more on what he does, right? So I think that's a huge opportunity to attract talent. I mean, just get talent itself.
And along with that, I think Esteban, you'll probably resonate with this. Let's say even if you go travel and you don't meet somebody you're going to hire right there and then, it seems like the way the real estate businesses and online businesses everybody's going is we're finding talent abroad, right? And we're hiring. So when Lisa is hiring on Indeed in Mexico and she talks to potential team members, and she can connect with them and say, oh yeah, heck yeah, I know Guanajuato. We visited there like a year and a half ago, and like, man, I love this part of town, and like this taco stand is just amazing. And you can connect on such a level with somebody. It's you're getting that talent, right? Because there's a war going on for talent right now. To snag talent, it's hard, right? And so if you're getting that additional advantage of like, hey, I know your culture, I've been to your hometown, I'm a cool person. Yeah, you're winning right there.
100%. And I think that so far in the last year that for example, my company being able to connect and have really rock stars is because not only I'm able to connect in their cultural level, the language and everything, but I know what they want and know what they would appreciate and know how to connect them, right? And also can pay them more than what they that we get paid overall. And that's
where's your team mostly based? Esteban, is it?
My team. So this is how my team is actually comprised. My team is like this. I have my media team in Mexico and partially US. Okay. So I have a great graphic designer, video animator from Mexico. Okay. Lives very close to Mexico City. I have my my content director. She is part-time, but she is more of an intern. She's in the US. But currently there's another one in Colombia that she's learning all about copywriting. She studied psychology in Colombia. She's currently doing psychology, speaks perfect English because they lived in Canada. So she's going to go inside the media team. She's also doing social media outreach. We have customer success managers / coaches. One is in Mexico. I forgot exactly what the city is, but she's in Mexico. We have one in Bogota. He is amazing, has a tremendous amount of experience being leader in call centers. And he also is like always learning and so into the American culture. So that's in Bogota. And we have another one in Bogota that started from the beginning with me. That's actually my cousin. So another Bogota person. Yeah. And I hired her when she was like 17 or 16 or something like that. Yeah, she started doing like a VA role of like just sending messages here and there, and that now she's like a systems lead. So she's learned so much. And we also have someone in the Philippines who is an amazing individual, but it's funny sometimes because they call me Boss Esteban, Miss Paula,
Esteban, sir. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't have to call me that, like. Yeah. She's the only one from the Philippines that we currently have, and we love her. We also have one that is local to here, and we also have. I hope I'm not forgetting anyone, but we also have people in India that is our advertising team. Obviously, very tech savvy and oriented. India, Pakistan, and things like that. But we're currently only hiring in remote Latinos right now, or putting efforts into it. And then a key place where we hire is South Africa too. As long as they have a good internet, and as long as they have a power supply, because in South Africa, the power goes out randomly sometimes. South Africa is a place where the English colonized. They have great accent. It actually sounds fancy. It's like English, and they have great culture. They're really great people. They would be really great in customer experience, customer success, even marketing, sales, and actually anything that you can train them on. The only problem is that they just get into the shutdowns. Like it could be 2 hours in a row, or it could be 4 hours, two different times in the day. And so they have to have a power supply in order for this to work.
How much does one of those cost for them?
Yeah. One good one would probably cost from $400 to $600, and it will last forever. And it will also be giving power for like 6 to 9 hours straight. If they were to
nice.
So what we do is like, okay, if you don't have a power supply and you're freaking amazing, then we're gonna make sure that we get you a power supply, but this is like a two-way scenario, right? Because we don't hire them as employees right away. First, it's independent contractors. So you have to make sure that you're also invested into this, and that you also are putting skin in the game, because we're obviously taking a risk here of giving you this big power supply. For the people that have been a long time, they don't have power supply with us, then we do like a 50-50 split on this. Because like ultimately it's going to help you, because now you're going to work as a remote employee your whole life. But we obviously want to hire always people that have invested into this, because they already know that it's the remote lifestyle, right? So that's the way that we're hiring right now in South Africa. South Africa, it's great, a place to.
Yeah, Yeah, Lisa can talk on hiring all day long. She's our chief happiness officer, aka HR, HR specialized recruiter. And I don't know, do you guys use Indeed in South Africa for hiring?
Yes, Indeed is used in South Africa, and I've hired a lot of people from Indeed. Actually, Indeed is super crucial, and it's very highly utilized in South America as well too. I think that you can create really good funnels for hiring, because Indeed is kind of like intent based, basically, right? It's like kind of like the Google of the marketing, because people are usually searching unless you reach out to someone, right? But you can create a good funnel in Indeed so that you can quickly filter and pre-qualify these individuals, and then ultimately get them into the type of interviews that you have. So, for example, like for customer success managers, which could be, for example, the same type of skill set of a lead manager or / follow-up specialist, we have what is a funnel with video. So, for example, we ask them to submit a video of the things that they've done, or through some questions that we have them. Obviously, they have to give us some information. We don't necessarily always ask for the CV, because in Indeed, they can just like upload it real quick there. But then they have to go to a secondary step of like, we use myinterview.com or something like that, or there is a video ask, or there is different video survey companies or softwares that you can ask question, and they will just do a video, so that they can show us not only how they express themselves and how they handle the question, but also that they have all obviously amazing English and everything. And they go through this. They must go through this in order to get considered. And then we obviously book the screening interview. So there's different things that we have learned to do real well for different type of positions. That was pretty good. Yeah,
man, that's awesome. Yeah, we use Lisa uses Airtable, so she set up the whole hiring process like you were talking about in Airtable. And I don't know if you guys use assessments. We find that the predictive index assessment is helping us really figure out, is this person going to be a long-term fit? Are they going to, really flourish in this position? I think that makes a lot of sense, kind of looking at that. And also, of course, each company is different. So figuring out what are your top qualities that you're looking for in the team member is going to help you as well, especially if you have already a big pool of team members that you've hired, and okay, who's successful, who's not, figure out who's successful, look at those traits. So then you can kind of screen for them right up front. But yeah, just like you're saying, Esteban, yeah, Indeed is absolutely the tool to use right now for hiring international talent. It seems like,
yeah, 100%. I mean, I'd love to ask you guys how you guys are currently having your hiring process and system. But for us, it's been highly profitable, Indeed and Facebook. All right.
Facebook for hiring.
Interesting.
Yes. We're running ads on Facebook in order to hire.
I wonder why. Who came up with that?
Yeah, we run ads on Facebook to hire people, again, with a funnel, pre-qualification and everything. And obviously, it's still like a little bit sensitive in terms of that Facebook doesn't like housing, doesn't like politics, doesn't like the employment category, because it's very sensitive. Ever since like Facebook has been getting more restrictions and policies, it's very sensitive on how you got to do it, because you cannot bait and switch ever contractors or employees. Like if Facebook actually notices that you're baiting and switching employees, they can like shut you down like real fast, for example, right? And that it happens because like people say, like, you can, for example, say on Facebook, earn $2,000 per month, right, to a Colombian person, right? And they're like, wow, that's good amount of money. Like that's an amazing amount of money. But then you go in the funnel and you say, okay, no, starts at $600. That's kind of like a bait and switch. And people can get rich on that, especially because it's a for employment opportunity, and Facebook is able to do that. So you have to be very, very like particular, and you have to be really good in the way that you craft your offer whenever you're having something. So for example, the one way that we do with Facebook ads is we not only have a picture of someone that is happy in a working place, and we say like, we're looking for customer success managers, for example, 90% plus English of level, earn up to $2,000 with bonuses and commissions, or plus commissions. And it has to be, for example, experience only. And then like we have the creative, we make sure that the funnel says there is a range. We will hire you depending on your experience from $700 to $2,000 per month of opportunity of what you can earn, plus bonuses, plus commissions, so that people are understanding exactly what really it entails. And the message is very clear, like the ad copy is very clear as well, not only in the top of the funnel and the creative, but also in the funnel itself. And the funnel could be just like a survey using JotForm or something like that explains exactly what is going on, or it could be ClickFunnels, or it could be whatever that is, and then goes through like a pre-qualification survey that has several steps, right, including those video things that I told you. So those are really good things, and obviously the follow-up is really important.
Man, it sounds like you can start a recruiting business from the Facebook side of things, man. Because I know.
As a matter of fact, guys, thank you that you guys are telling me this. We just really recently started remotelatinos.com.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
So it's a platform to find talent?
It's a platform that we can help. Now we're focusing on real estate professionals, real estate businesses to help them recruit and place talent inside their company. So we've been testing it internally with some clients, and it's been working well. We've been testing it with agencies, and it's been working really well. Now we're putting it out there for the masses very soon. We're going to start running ads on that, because remotelatinos.com. I cannot believe I got that domain.
Man, that is amazing, dude. Congratulations. Hey, I can tell you, we're part of Collective Genius. I don't know if you've heard of it, but that's a pretty big, mastermind in the wholesale space and real estate holding space. And I don't remember the name of the company right now, but they're running, hire for you lead managers. And I think their charge is like $15,000 per hire. So I'm sure that, with your service, you can be very competitive with that, not charge as much, but
15,000?
They charge $15,000 per placement. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. I want to charge that amount.
Exactly, man. So don't be humble, man. There's people paying that. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty amazing. All right. So how's your you guys have a remote team right now? Like you guys have people that are in the US. How does that work with you guys?
Yeah. Lisa, do you want to give an overview of our team?
So we have right now 28 team members in 9 countries around the world. Yeah. Wow. So that's double what we had last year. So we're growing rapidly. And we have a division, in dispositions where you're working with investors. So we have several folks who are here in Washington on the ground, but everyone else is remote. And I will say that,
but even folks in Washington, everybody is virtual.
Right. Everyone's virtual. Yeah. No office just yet. But I will say that as amazing as virtual companies are, sometimes it can be, especially for key leaders, it can be more productive to meet in person. So what we've instilled as of about 2 years ago is our key leaders will meet once a quarter in person together. We usually book an Airbnb and we stay overnight. So we have bonding time. It's usually about five days. And that really has helped us mastermind the next quarter, the rest of the year, and really implement those things that are harder to make time for during the day when you're in the business so much and you're all virtual, right? So it gives you some time and space to be together with the key, folks who are leading the company to have that same vision and then run with it. So I will say, for folks who are virtual, as you're expanding your team, especially at your team of managers and leaders, it is really important to have that physical proximity for that inspiration, that motivation. It doesn't have to be once a week or anything like that. It's whatever works for you, but at least once a quarter is really helpful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was going to say, if you want to know the way we're structured, so on the acquisition side, our marketing analysts, everything, of course, starts with marketing. That's the blood in the business. We have a marketing specialist in the Philippines. We've been working with her for 6 years, just phenomenal, right? And I think, that's a really good opportunity to look for Filipinos or somebody in Southeast Asia maybe to run that side, because, English doesn't have to be as good. Then on the lead manager side, we got a gentleman in Jamaica. Love the guy. We got a lady in Guyana, and that's a little fun fact, guys. Guyana is the only country in South America where the native language is English. Oh. It's a small country. I think there's only like 600,000 people there, man, but amazing talent comes from Guyana. And then we got a guy in Mexico, in Baja California. So that's the acquisitions. Then acquisition managers, we got 2 of them. That's where they're US based, but they're virtual. One in Seattle, one in Boise. And then on the disposition side, we got Argentina,
Colombia, and Mexico.
Colombia, Mexico, Costa Rica. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For disposition, you have them, the Latinos now. Are they also negotiating or like dealing with the buyers in like a sales level?
Mm-hmm.
So they will, some of them will renegotiate if they need to. Primarily, we have our closers do the renegotiation, but sometimes recently on a deal, just last week, we had our acquisition manager renegotiate, get a $40,000 reduction, then followed by our lady, we love her, from Costa Rica. She negotiated some more. She got another $60K reduction on top of that, right? So yeah, it's definitely a skill that they can learn and develop. So they're doing that, and then we supplement that. We have another virtual worker here who can go out in person if they need to, and that's kind of sometimes the glue that on some tough transactions you just need that. So you can have that that person be the runner that kind of jumps into fires where they need to. And then with Lisa on the hiring side, we got an amazing rock star in Mexico to help with recruiting as well.
Mm-hmm. It took really 5 months to find him, but he's in Querétaro.
So she's helping with the recruitment, like basically like a part-time or full-time recruiter in your team.
Full-time, yeah.
Full-time recruiting.
Yep.
Love that.
Yeah.
I've been looking for that. That's why I saw there was opportunity, because it was a big bottleneck for clients, because we would send them leads. We would send them appointments, and we would send them like this amazing like lead cycle, conversion cycle, but then they will just have no idea how to grow. They will stop following up, stop growing, and they will just get so just frustrated or overwhelmed that they had so much to do, little time, and they never hired people. They never really knew what are the next steps. So we saw it as a bottleneck that we can also help. That's why I started creating like, hey, let's do something about it. Eventually, I tried to find someone in Colombia, couldn't find it for a long time. Try to find someone in other countries to help me recruit. It was like this ever long lasting thing, not only for my team to recruit people for my team, but also to help my clients, until I found someone that is located in Colombia. He's American, and he's living right now in Medellin. And now we partner up because like he's so passionate about placing people and giving people jobs, but not only other businesses get amazing people from all over the world. Now we can call it remote Latinos. That was one of the biggest things. Guys, you mentioned. Sorry?
That's exciting, man. Yeah, that's exciting that you're bringing that value to the marketplace, because a lot of people, they hear about, I have a virtual team, but like, how do I go about finding it? And it's so, it's so work intensive. If you try to do, the whole thing from soup to nuts yourself, it's a lot of work.
I have paid about four or five different recruiters already. A lot of them, they have worked. Some of them, they haven't worked. and it's a lot of money and it's a lot of like uncertainty, like where my next top hire is going to come from. You know, like why can I just control this? Like I cannot control it, or a reliable source, you know. Obviously it's kind of like another business because it's another department, really. Right?
Esteban, so do you guys have actual lead managers in your company as well? So I know you guys are all about, lead generation. Do you guys also have lead managers and actually like appointment setters?
Yeah, so we currently, again, I think I've gotten real good at partnering up with the right individuals. We have lead managers that would, we call them, there's two types of lead managers that we have. There is the inbound only lead managers that would basically, we call them inside sales agents / follow-up specialists that would go ahead and call all the leads that have gone in, opted in into the funnel, and continuously do that until like appointment is booked or a live transfer is done. And also there's the other lead managers, which are going to go through the entire pipeline, make sure that the pipeline is organized, being followed up, that the leads are being touched, that every single lead is getting the attention that they need to, again, book appointments or do live transfers. That one is more like a follow-up specialist, whether that's like after the lead is generated or after the lead is claimed as dead. That is the other type of one that we have. And that one requires a little bit more effort to get, because the inbound one, it's a little bit more streamlined right now. But the second lead manager, we also call them appointment setters. So we have appointment setters as well, / follow-up specialist / lead manager. Doesn't matter what you call, they have this mission, right? But that's something that we definitely do right now. And I'm going to start, we just started doing creative financing acquisition with an ex-client of mine, so that we go through, the Michigan market and the Florida market in order to acquire properties using creative financing. So that's also a pretty exciting thing. It's a pretty exciting thing to do, because creative financing is huge, especially,
Is it Pace Morby? Is it Pace?
No, I wish it was Pace Morby.
I'd be like, man, you're in the big league.
I just invested with Pace Morby on a 400 unit apartment in Charlotte, though.
Oh, nice. I saw that. Okay. I didn't know who it was. Oh, cool.
Yeah,
man.
no, his name is Johan. And basically what we're doing is partnering up to go after creative financing opportunities in Detroit, just outside of Detroit, suburbs of Detroit, and Florida. Most importantly is South Florida, because it's our backyard as well. He used to be a client of mine, and that basically he reverse engineered how I did my marketing. And then he's like, "Oh, Esteban, I don't need you anymore. I just figured it out." And I was like, "Oh man, are you serious?"
Smart guy.
We ended up talking after, creating a relationship, and now we're partnering up. It's kind of funny,
Man, that's cool. Yeah, you never know how it works out, right? Yeah. From client to partners. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, man. So there's always opportunities for like us do work in the future for whatever it is. I'm always open to work with like really great individuals for however I can bring value to you, or you can bring value to me or to my team or to my family, whatever that is. I'm always there, guys. Okay.
Man, we're going to there's the next CG event is in Tampa in the end of June. Man, it'd be awesome to meet up. Maybe if you can drive up there, because there's a lot of big players, and maybe you can get some business out of that.
Let's do it. Should I join CG?
Oh, dude, yeah, no, 100%, man. Like these are like for wholesaling, these are the biggest wholesaling operations. Yeah. So
wholesaling or like investing, like
mostly. So the biggest, I'd say it's the biggest wholesalers. There's some buy and holds there as well, some flipping. But like just to give you perspective, so there is I don't know if you heard the guy's name. Runs Property Force. I think they're out of Fort Lauderdale. So they're doing $4 million a month. There's Phil Green from San Diego. Forget the company name. They're also doing $4 million a month in flips and wholesaling. There's Frank Cava from Richmond. big operation there. Corey Brewer, I think from Pennsylvania, they're doing like over 200 deals per year, or maybe 300 range. So just big gorillas in the business.
You mean Proper Force? The guy, the owner, I think, what's his name? It's Nielsen Solomon.
No, that's
Neil Solomon.
I don't think it's Neil, but it's the guy. Yeah, he's the founder. I mean, he was there at the event. Yeah, he started it.
Okay, interesting. Because someone in the executive team of Proper Force lives in my building, and I haven't met him, but I have.
Oh, there you go.
I was just told this like 2 days ago, and
Dude,
I was like,
the guy loves to travel, man. He's all about travel. So yeah, could be a really
okay. Awesome. Hey guys, I don't want to end this, but I do want to ask you a question. You guys talked about how having that physical human interaction with your team is super huge for you, and you've been doing this quarterly. I have a problem of like how to figure out I can get my team together and like put them into a place, or like get them in so like they can meet the rest of the team, right? Because all of us are remote. Are you guys doing that for your entire team now as well?
Dude, you asked a fantastic question.
It's in the works.
Yeah, so we got a third business partner who's all about that. He's very much kind of like, man, we gotta meet in person. And he's leading our dispo side. And so what he's doing there is an experiment. He's like, guys, if we can get to $1 million a month or close to it in
2
the
months
next
in a row,
2 months in a row, we're going to all meet up together. And that team is rallying and pulling together like crazy.
Oh my God.
So I'm
so
not
tying an incentive to that,
just like a big,
where the team comes together and works together. Man, these guys are working 1 a.m. their time, picking up phone calls, reaching out to get creative solutions. They're so behind this goal because they want to meet. So it's creating that team culture and that team camaraderie where they work together.
Yeah, and I think that you mentioned something about how they need to perform to a specific level, and then they will get this.
Yeah,
and I think that people just work mostly on incentives, positive incentivization, or whatever that is called.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon my English. I don't.
Next time we do it in Spanish, and I try to learn.
Do it in Spanish next time. But it's so amazing how you can tell people, hey, look, if we get to here, and we're here, you will get also this, and how they're gonna work better as opposed to if you don't do this, you get this taken away. It's such a different and drastic mindset and way of doing things, because I used to kind of be this person, and until I learned to be a better leader. You guys are driving your team to help you beat 2 months in a row, $1 million a month, and that's a big goal. But how far are you guys to $1 million a month right now?
Yeah, so I think right now, this month, we're going to get to the biggest month that we've ever had. It's going to be about 660,000. So not quite there, but man, it's bigger than anything, that we've had.
Humble. So freaking humble, man.
Yeah. So we can get 2 of those months in a row. We're not telling the team, but the guys already said, man, if they can get that level 2 months in a row, we're gonna make it happen, because they're pulling out all the stops.
Yeah, I think that the way that you guys currently operate and do everything, I think that's completely doable. What do you think that you guys need to pull off in order to get there?
Yeah, our biggest issue right now is a little bit. We've had some instability on our lead manager side, because a few of our folks just had big, personal issues. One guy had a concussion, big concussion from playing rugby, so he had to leave. One guy had a heart attack, and then another guy, just had personal trauma and issues with alcohol. So we're actively hiring lead managers to fill in the gaps. I think once we get that, and then we get one more acquisition manager, I think, with that, we'll definitely hit the $1 million mark and more.
What are your requirements for lead managers?
Lisa, you want to talk about it?
I mean, primarily fluent English, preferably having lived in the US or sold to US clientele. Sales is a big one, customer service, but really a drive really driven by commissions, really driven by helping people, and someone who's not burnt out easily over the phone, doing repetitive phone calls day in and day out. Yeah.
Yeah. Looking for somebody, somebody who's hungry and humble. Like that's key combination. Yeah. You put that together, and we can do the coaching, and man, you see fantastic results.
Well, let me introduce you to my team. I have two teams for recruiting and two people that I go to. One is our internal remote Latinos, which is more of like Latinos that make it happen. And the other one is the recruiter that has been able to help me get like higher level skill sets, such as, for example, closers, such as, for example, operations managers, things like that, developers. So I can potentially introduce you to the man that will get this type of individuals that fit your criteria. All right. Obviously, there is many other people out there that will even have a program to train your, call them appointment setters, call them follow-up specialists, lead managers, such as Cole Gordon. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Let me take some notes. Cole Gordon. Huh?
Yeah, Cole Gordon has a really great program. It's called Closers.io, and he trains closers, and he trains also appointment setters, and he also places them, but they're very expensive. Okay, but you can just go for the recruiting part of it, like, you know what I mean, like, because he has an entire program, and you can speak with my partner. He lives in my building, and we're really good friends. And he has helped me a lot find my closers and other clients' closers and things like that. Which in reality, a lead manager should be a closer mindset, but specifically focused on managing the leads in a way to follow up and things like that. Just like what Tiffany talks about, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome. What about you, man? What's your biggest hurdle right now? What's your need?
Great question. I think that one of my biggest hurdles right now is like finding the right leaders and executives in my company so that I can fully like detach myself. So for example, managers, right? Or like executives to do that. And it's also I'm being complacent in like, I'm being very comfortable in not looking for them, because I'm like, oh my God, I'm just getting to that step now. And like, it's kind of like this feeling, but I have to do it for the best for my company. Because I realize sometimes that when I step into meetings, I am the freaking bottleneck, you know? And like, there's things that I suggest that are not necessary, that are things that, you know, I put more work and pressure into the situation, and when things are already flowing. And that's because I have these crazy entrepreneurs in mind. I'm really great at startups, but like once a company is like established, like, and it just needs to grow, you just have to get it with like more clear-minded individuals that are, you know, more leveled and not too crazy like me, you know?
Laser focused.
Right.
They need to be operating in their zone of genius.
Exactly. So that's kind of my thing. What suggestion do you have for that?
Man, that's interesting.
I would say put together a really clear job scorecard of what you're looking for in that key leader. Be as specific as possible, and you know, figure out how that person's going to help take that load off of your plate, and then utilize an assessment that zones in on their zone of genius to make sure that they're in the right role before you hire them. Yeah, for sure.
Love that.
That's definitely our goal as well, is to hire the right leaders so that we can step out and work on bigger picture vision. You're
using language that I love that people use. honestly, it's the operations side of the business, something that I feel like I'm good at. I'm not the best at, that I had to hire. And I ended up hiring someone for it, getting them into like different programs for it. We looked at different operations and COO type of programs that have helped really, really well. But at the same time, is something that is what's going to glue the company together, right? So is that what you're currently doing right now, Lisa? Like in a sense, or what's your current main role and job?
Yeah, it's hiring for sure. It's hiring the right people and learning how to properly filter candidates in the right position.
Yeah, so she's our recruiter. She finds the talent, and I am currently sitting in the CEO role. But I would love to hear what are those programs that you're talking about that have really
absolutely. So there is remote integrator program. It's called Remote Integrator by Scaling with Systems. It's a program that, it's a company that is really based on systems and operations. The owner of that coaching program in the company, that's how they scale their company. They're very systematized. They're very like analytical too. They're very like process oriented, and it was pretty great. So I'm going to take my operations managers through that program.
And it's called Remote Integrator, and the company Scaling with Systems?
Scaling with Systems, yeah. And the other one that I was looking into was obviously EOS. What was the... but the program for them. I was looking into them, but I also was looking into COO Alliance, which is kind of like a higher level type of program that will take all the CEOs and take them through like an accelerator to grow and help them grow the companies to other levels. But the remote integrator one was pretty great. Definitely. And that's what we went through.
Right on.
Yeah.
Awesome.
There is also, and there's one program that we took that prepares other operations managers, because you know how like operations have the visionary and the implementer operations. That one is going to be putting all the strategies, seeing all the opportunities in the operations side, and the other one will definitely be someone that will implement, be in there, doing the things, can do things in the operations side. That one is done by Jana Lee, and basically she prepares your operators. She trains your operators to a level where they can be really good operators, and ultimately helps you help them, because it's going to prepare anyone that has the capacity of functioning like that become a really great operator. Jana Lee, I had her in my podcast. If you hear her podcast, it was a little bit short because like I was a little bit late for the podcast, but it was really great. I'm going to have her in the second episode. She has a program for it, for operators. Let me check exactly what is there you go. She does, she has a company called, or a program called, oh my God, I'm not getting it. Where is it? I don't know. She basically takes a 360 view on operations and put the operations degree on a remote company.
And she works with the COO or like with everybody?
Operators. So she's been COOs on multiple companies, digital companies, and she helps prepare and catapult the operators of other companies now, of other digital companies. Operations managers, right? Other CEOs too. That one is a really good one to do, and she has a very similar lifestyle that you guys have.
Man, that's interesting. Yeah. It'd be good to connect.
Yeah.
All right, brother. If you don't mind, gotta kind of wrap it up here. Any kind of last things you want to talk about?
Yeah, absolutely. What would you say one of the biggest things that you would recommend people to really achieve their goals in the travel nomad side and just being able to live the lifestyle that you guys currently have? Like, what are those biggest things that you guys would recommend doing?
Yeah, I think just like with business, from my perspective, I don't know if Lisa would agree. Just like with business, with travel, you have to jump in. You have to dive in. Just freaking book a trip and go. And you'll figure things out as you go along, because you're never going to be fully prepared. There's always going to be obstacles. There's always going to be reasons not to go. Things pulling you back. So just like with business, man, get your ticket. Get
out of your comfort zone.
Get out of your comfort zone and go there, man, and fail forward. There's definitely going to be challenges, but you're going to overcome them.
And last thing, sorry, go for it.
I just to end with this quote. It's my favorite quote probably of all time. There are 7 days in the week, and someday is not one of them. Do it now.
I like that. And last thing is, how would you structure your remote team in order for you to do this? How would you structure your remote business in order to do this? I know it could be like a big question, but like how would you structure it?
I would focus on, use the theory of constraints and focus on the biggest, on the bottleneck, figure out what is the bottleneck in your business and attack that, put somebody there that would, increase the capacity, and then the bottleneck moves is going to be somewhere else in the business. Then find the bottleneck again, increase the capacity. So just keep going after the bottlenecks.
Love that.
And the last thing I would say is, as the owner or CEO or COO of your business, know what your strengths are and what you're not so good at. and if you're not good at that, for example, if you're not a salesperson, hire a salesperson in that position and step the heck out of it. Let the people do what they're the best at.
That is sweet. It's a great thing that we have learned all about you guys today. I think that I love to have you guys for a second episode. I really love having second episodes for people that we can chat forever and get a lot of content out of this. Just to let you know, if you have loved this episode, guys, for whoever's listening, just share this, like it, subscribe it, in all the platforms out there for podcasts. And at the same time, expect different chunks, cuts here and there of the content in social media. So that you can share with all your friends, circles, and other business entrepreneurs. So that will be it for today. Thank you so much for putting time into this. Honestly, it's been an honor, guys.
Thank you,
Muchas
Esteban.
gracias, Esteban. Un placer.
It's awesome, man. Hope I get to see you, brother, in June.
I hope that we can see each other because it's like right here in Tampa. Oh, before I go, are you guys going to continue doing this when Nico is born?
Absolutely.
That's the plan.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, it depends on where the business is and what the needs are for us physically here, but absolutely. Yeah.
I think it will be great for those parents that want to travel and have kids.
I'll probably shift my blog to parenting abroad.
That would be a great niche. Again, what's your blog again? Your blog name?
Culturalfoodies.com.
Culturalfoodies.com. All right. Yep. So people go follow at culturalfoodies.com.
Yep. And then Instagram is at cultural_foodies.
Okay. Culturalfoodies.com.
You got it. Yep.
Nice.
Cool.
And
Great.
then
I love
Foodies. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Love having you guys. Man.
Have an awesome day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Every day I'm hustling.